Oh, would we want it any other way? I don't think so. Welcome into the Early Edge, powered as always by the almighty SportsLine. I am the coach, and we are sweating this first game. We knew it was going to be good, and it's about as good as it can get. So quickly, let's bring in the stars of the show because we've got to start talking about the first game and then countdown to the nightcap 49ers and the Packers. You know them. Mikey, Alex, Dial Up, and Sia. They're all back. All right, guys. First and foremost, we're tied at 16-16. We've got a bunch of things right. We got sides, we got parlays, we got teasers, we've got props. Everything is still hanging in the balance. So, Mikey, let me come to you because you said we had the top 8 teams. And so far through this first game, I mean, it's as even as it can get.
It's as even as it can get. And I mean, we need to talk about the front four really on the defensive side of the ball, man. They've really impacted the game. And, yeah, it's been a fantastic game. Stars are showing up. Chase had a huge play, obviously. A.J. Brown has connected down the field and kept the Titans in the game. It's a beautiful thing when we have competitive football.
It really, really is. Sia, what have you seen today? Because you're Joe Mixon, and Alex, you were on it too, under 60.5 rush yards. That looked like the lock of the century at halftime. But then in the second half, it's almost as if Tennessee said, you know what, we're going to let him do him, and we're going to stop the dynamic wide receivers.
Yeah, that's what they did. And then they were like, oh, that's my bad. Maybe we shouldn't have done that. So fortunately, Mixon is still under the total. There's only a few minutes left in this game. Hopefully that prop ends up hitting. Fortunately, we got Jamar Chase over, so that certainly helps. But man, 16-16 with 3 minutes left. This is game one of what we consider to be 4 really good football games.
Sure is. And Joe Burrow just got sacked for, count it, the 9th time in the game. Now, here's a little Chick-fil-A nugget they just showed on the game, by the way, on CBS, that the only quarterback to ever win a playoff game after being sacked 8 or more times. Did anybody see the graphic? Anybody know who it is? I mean, we could be here all night and you probably never guess. Donovan McNabb is the only quarterback to ever win a playoff game when sacked 8 or more times. So now
that's my guy, Coach.
Donovan is your guy. He's your favorite.
Well, I mean, I was an Eagles fan growing up, so yeah.
I know, but he never won you he never won you a Super Bowl.
He took us to 4 NFC Championship games, so I mean, he was okay.
He was okay. All right, so the Bengals have punted it back to the Titans. So, see, and maybe I'm not ignoring you, but we got showdowns that we're talking about here. So, Sia, sorry, you're tomorrow with me. Let me go back to Alex. Yeah. Alex, you're giving me 3.5. There's less than 3 minutes to play, and right now the Titans, no doubt, will be playing for the field goal. How do you feel about your showdown right now?
Can I actually tell you how big of a fish I am? I didn't talk about this on the show, but I made a bet. I tailed Mike. Mike gave out to take the Titans to win the AFC Championship about 4 or 5 weeks ago, long before they had clinched the first round bye. It was like plus 1,000 at the time. It was a great bet. It's now like prior to this game, it was around plus 500. I thought I was like hedging that bet when I made this showdown with you. Little did I know that I have it like all riding on the Titans. I thought I was actually like doing myself a favor. But yeah, not feeling good about this showdown at all. I am going to hit you with a Justin Jefferson dance no matter what happens.
AB, you are there with Mikey in Nashville, Tennessee. They have got to be some nervous football fans right now, but at least they have the football with the 2-minute warning tied at 16. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it could be way worse. It could be what we saw in the first half, right? It took this offense, enough time to get going here. We'll see what they do in regards to this drive. It's crazy that, we spoke on the show earlier today that Danico Autry and Jeff Simmons would have big games. Obviously, they're showing that. The Titans, like you said, have 9 sacks. They actually have 11 sacks. They had 2 that were called off on penalties against Cincinnati, which actually helped them out. And also, at 16-16, that extra point that Tennessee could have had might be kind of important right now.
Trent Green, who's filling in for Charles Davis, who I believe has COVID on CBS. And, Mikey, let me come back to you. He made a big deal of that. I know you're an advanced analytics. You're a math guy. But going for the 2 when they had the penalty on the extra point in the first quarter, I understand the numbers say to do it. But now as we move forward, how many times late in the season and in the postseason we've seen those points come back to bite teams?
Yeah, I mean, they can definitely come back to bite you, but I personally will always believe you go for 2 in that spot, just because it's a 1 yard for 2 points is still very similar probability to making the field goal from the extra point spot where it is here. It's really similar in this particular offense. The Titans offense in those short goal line situations is significantly better than the average NFL team. So it's unfortunate to see it at that spot. And obviously you could say they'd be winning here. If they had 1 point more on the board, it changes the way play calling, et cetera, happens. But the name of the game is to maximize points, and I think they made the right move.
Alex.
Yeah, just to jump on what Mike was saying too, the Bengals' interior defensive line is a weak point as well. No Larry Ogunjobi, minimal depth there. You think that'd be a point of strength for the Titans, especially getting, obviously half the distance as well with one of the best interior run games in the NFL going against frankly, not the most talented interior line as far as the Bengals are concerned. So yeah, I think you do have to go for that spot.
All right. So that is that game. We will, of course, keep everybody up to date as we were all watching together and sweating all of these showdowns and stuff together. But we've got another game, guys, we got to get ready for. And it's tonight in Lambeau Field, 49ers and the Packers. AB, I will ask you again, is the game time temperature tonight still scheduled to be at least 10 degrees or below?
Yes, and I believe Chiefs answered it for us, baby. Yes, it is going to be freezing up there today.
All right, so give the good people at home the incredible stat that you laid on us earlier in the week about games at Lambeau since 1960 in 10 degrees or less weather.
Yep, there have been 17 of them, and all 17 resulted in total points of 45 or fewer.
How about that? And tonight, the number is, AB?
47.5.
There you go. Seems like the bet just kind of makes itself. So when we talk storylines, the 49ers, they've been the traveling band. They win in Los Angeles. They go on the road and win in Dallas. Now they've got to go on the road in Green Bay. So let's start the discussion. Sia, do you think the travel going west to east, I guess technically the Rams wasn't west to east, but you know what I mean, being on the road multiple weeks in a row, do you think that's going to have an issue for the 49ers?
Not really. I mean, certainly the timing of this game is going to be beneficial to a West Coast team, but I'm not really worried about the travel here. I think this is a really good matchup, frankly. And I think the way the 49ers are going to be running the ball here, we know you can expose the Packers with the running game. So I think this is going to be a very close game. I'm not really worried about the cold as it pertains to San Francisco. Just side note, Jimmy Garoppolo did play at Eastern Illinois. So it's not like it's the first time he's been in cold weather before. So it's a professional team. They're very well run. I think they're going to adopt, frankly, the game plan that the Browns adopted on December 25th, just a few weeks ago, where they almost won that game, if not for 4 interceptions from Baker Mayfield.
Very, very good. By the way, Todd in the chat says, the players do not give a rat's ass how cold it is. We'll have nothing to do with it. We never said that it did. Did we? Did anybody say that the weather was going to have? We said the under comes in 17 times in a row. Golly, it's all about listening. Is it not? Is it not? Mikey, let me come to you because the Packers had an off week and they are as healthy as they're going to be because of the rest. What do you think they need to do tonight to really get after this very, very physical San Francisco team?
I think it's pretty simple. Don't turn the football over and protect Aaron Rodgers. I think that's really all they have to do. I think they're the better team in every category. I think that San Francisco, it's tough to go win this many road games in a row and do this in this spot. It's just the time is kind of ticking them, in my opinion. So if they can protect Aaron Rodgers, I know Bakhtiari is out, not going to play. They just have to protect him and not turn the football over. Usually it's not Aaron Rodgers who does. It's usually someone else with a untimely fumble or something. But if they take care of the football, that's really what they got to do. They're healthy enough. They welcome Randall Cobb back. They've got a lot of chemistry with Randall Cobb at this point. So I think the Packers are in a really good spot to roll tonight.
All right, so Chad is ruining it for us in the chat. So 3rd down and 5 for the Titans, and I think I know what happens here, and I think I'm going to be happy unless he's messing with us. And, yep, interception Bengals, 20 seconds to go in the game at their own 47. Chad, You're one of my favorites, but quit ruining it for me and everybody else in the chat. All right? No teasers. Everybody has different things. DirecTV, cable, streaming. I run the show. But thank you for tipping that off. That really helped me a lot there. All right, so now here, guys. Let's go back. Let's go back to this game now. So what do the Bengals do? AB, we have the ball, another Tannehill interception, and I believe how many timeouts do we have here? Because anybody?
2.
All right, 2 timeouts, 20 seconds. They have the best kicker in football right now. This dude cannot miss. So he already hit one over 50 yards earlier in the game. So, AB, what would you do? How did the Titans keep from losing this one late?
It's going to be tough. Their field goal kicker obviously has been on fire, and if the Bengals move the ball down the field and give him a shot at this, basically 55 yards and in, buddy, it's going to be trouble, and it looks like it might be trouble for Tennessee.
Yeah, they complete to our guy, number 1, and number 1 in our hearts, Jamar Chase. How many catches is that? That's 5. Oh!
They basically need a sack. Like the Titans have to do everything they can to get a sack and get Burrow out of field goal position.
So we're at 15 seconds. 1st and 10. 2 timeouts for the Bengals. We really need a Jamar Chase out route here because we have him over 15 and a half. What's that, AB?
What yard line are we at?
We're at the 35. Joe Mixon. So Joe Mixon, how many yards does he need? He needs 7. He gets 3 there, and they're going to kick the field goal.
I really want McPherson to make this kick. Let's just put it that way.
There are so many different things.
You know what? I want my prop to hit more than I care about our showdown coach, so I am rooting for McPherson here as well.
Wait a second. What do you mean? Which prop are you talking? Oh, the Mixon prop. Got it.
I'm saying I want to lose my showdown to you, coach, so I can hit my Mixon prop.
Right.
All right, so here we go. Here's where it's all at. So it's 9 seconds, 2nd and 8. I got to be honest with you. I don't know how you guys are. I love sweating these live on the show. This is one of my favorite things to do. It really, really is.
Are they going for the field goal here?
No. McPherson is still on the sidelines. He's walking around all by himself like he's throwing a no-hitter right now. And so the 1 timeout left, 2nd and 8 from the 35. And I think the for some reason they are delaying and showing a bunch of replays. So I think there's another timeout on the field. All right, so the Titans just took a timeout. So we're tied at 16. The Titans just took another knee. By the way, while we're waiting, how did you guys think? I thought Derrick Henry at time looked good today, but I thought he looked very tentative too when he would hit the hole. Didn't you guys think so, Alex? What about you?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that I think it's a big ask for anybody to miss that much time and expect them to come in, hit the ground running. But all things considered, I thought he played well. I thought Dante Foreman also looked good. It was at times hard to differentiate between the two. Dante Foreman ran really well. I hope that's not something the Titans end up regretting, not feeding him the ball more. Obviously, he had 2 huge runs, one significant 40-plus yard run. So, yeah, I was fairly impressed by Derrick Henry. I did expect some rust to be there. And at times, he looked a little tentative. But for the most part, I thought he played well.
All right, very good. Xavier in the chat says, let's get on with that damn Packers-49ers game. Xavier, you're literally the only one. Everybody is watching this game right now. If we were talking, we'd be like we were spitting into the wind. All right, so here we go. 3 game-winning field goals this season for Evan McPherson. 38, 45, and 54 yards he has made today. This dude is as legit as there is a kicker in the National Football League. All right, nobody say anything. Here we go. The final play of regulation. Will the Bengals allow the Bills and Chiefs to fight for home field advantage next weekend? Or will we continue on with more football? Here we go. 52 yards for the win. Dramatic pause. I think he makes it. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Ball game is over.
Let's
and
go.
the
See ya.
Tennessee Titans. See ya. You know how I did that? See ya. See ya. See ya. See ya. You and Alex just hit your prop. Now, it was tight. Mixon, 14 carries, 54 yards. We had 7 yards of value. I don't even know what anybody was saying.
I did say it should open at 54.5 as well.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. All right, now, Xavier, we will move on to the next game just for you, my friend. All right, let's get into our best bets for the game tonight. Then, if you have a prop you like in the game tonight, go ahead and put it into the chat for me, and we'll get to as many as we possibly can. All right, AB, how about we start with you?
Yeah, so we're going to go one play here. Devontae Adams, longest reception, over 26.5 yards. I know that it's a cold game, but if you look at how the 49ers have played, not only defensively, but defensively historically against Aaron Rodgers, they are a funnel on the outside of the numbers. Aaron Rodgers had a field day with Devontae Adams against them earlier this season, and they're going to do the same thing again. You're going to see a lot of running the ball with Green Bay up the middle, and that's going to make it even worse. So we just need to grab one of them here. Devontae Adams, longest reception, over 26.5.
I like that a lot. A great way to change and still be able to play on the most dynamic player that's going to be on the field here tonight. All right, Alex, let me come to you. What do you got?
Yeah, I've got 2 props, Coach. First off, I got Brandon Ayuk under 4.5 receptions. Ayuk has only caught 5 passes in 5 of 17 games this season. Despite the uptick in the recent production, the 49ers are still a very slow pace, run-first offense. Jimmy G, we also know he's dealing with a variety of ailments. We talked about the weather a bit in Green Bay. It's supposed to be very cold. Furthermore, the 49ers have a minus 6% pass rate over expected. Only the Titans actually are more tilted towards the run. The Packers are also a lot easier to run against than they are to attack through the air. Similar to the 49ers, they also play very slowly. They led the NFL in time of possession this season. That was by design. Ayuk has a 1.44 yards per route run. That's the lowest of any of the starting receivers and tight ends on the 49ers. I also think it's just going to be a low volume environment between the frigid temperatures, Garoppolo's injuries, both teams looking to run a lot of clock. I think it's a great spot to fade Ayuk here under 4.5 receptions. The other prop I have is Deebo Samuel over 38.5 rushing yards. This is available on FanDuel. You can play this up to 40.5 yards. I know it's on some other books. Deebo has just been so dynamic running the football over the last 3 games. He has 25 rushing attempts. He's been absolutely phenomenal. I expect that to continue. I do think Green Bay is also beatable on the ground. I think Deebo will get the ball quite a bit, quite a few carries in my opinion. And yeah, he's just been absolutely electric. I expect him to flirt with 6 to 8 carries, and that's all I think he'll need to eclipse 40 yards.
All right. Very, very good. I love that analysis. Thomas says in the chat, nothing like hitting 5 soccer bets earlier from buckets and giving it all back because the Bengals couldn't score 21.5 points. Story of my life. Thomas, you should never bet on one prop what you just won on 5 games from buckets in the morning. That's not the story of life. That's just dumb betting. Come on. Take one of those wins and put it on that prop. Alex, please educate the people on props, please.
Yeah, I think bankroll management is very important. We typically recommend a unit system. 1 unit should be reflective of 1 to 2% of your bankroll. You should try to make everything a similar size bet. You'll have a lot easier time sort of overcoming losses and downswings. And yeah, just making things uniform size will just greatly benefit your bankroll in the long run.
It's the hardest thing to do. I struggle with it sometimes too, but staying completely like this is so important. Mikey, what do you got tonight, pal?
Yep, 2 plays. One of them we just hit the first leg of it. The Bengals plus 11. We need the Packers money line now to come in. And then I've got the Packers in a teaser with the Rams tomorrow plus 9. Look, I think that this is a great spot for the Packers to ultimately get the win. Covering the number once it gets to 6 can be pretty difficult in any environment, really. It appears to get in, get out with a win, and I think that's exactly what they do. I think it's a really, really tough spot here, and I think Jimmy G's injury situation is not really talked about enough. I think it's a pretty big deal, and it's not necessarily the shoulder for me. It's still the thumb and the grip. He's talked about some of the grip issues. If you have any of those grip issues, the last place I want to go to try and grip a football is Green Bay when it's cold as crap outside. Trying to hold that football while you're getting hit here doesn't sound any fun at all. So I think it's a much bigger deal than we're talking about.
I do too, because we saw in the last quarter last week, he couldn't throw the football. He was overthrowing it, bad interception. I mean, it just wasn't good. It wasn't good. See, I know you don't have an official play tonight, but I want you to comment on the Maestro's plays. All right, he's at 49ers plus the 6 and George Kittle over on his receiving prop at -110.
Yeah, I like both of those, actually. I like the 49ers plus 6, taking into account the Jimmy Garoppolo issue, which I think is completely valid. I just think that the 49ers are going to be able to handle the line of scrimmage on offense to a large extent, just like they've done for the last 6 or 7 weeks. So I think 6 is a really big number, honestly. Maybe, obviously the cold weather, being at Green Bay, that's all being factored in here, maybe Jimmy's injury. But to me, this line should be 4, maybe 3.5, maybe 4.5, but 6 to me is way too many. The thing about George Kittle that's really interesting is that he should flourish against zone coverage, which is what the Green Bay Packers are going to play in large part. So, I was on the George Kittle prop in terms of receptions last week. That obviously crashed and burned, but I think this is actually a better setup for George Kittle. Honestly, in factoring in the weather as well, I think some of those short area, quick targets, those are going to go to George Kittle for sure.
Okay. Very, very good. Uncle Dave is on Randall Cobb over 28.5 receiving yards, and also Elijah Mitchell under his rush attempts, 19.5, -105. All right, let's get into some props from the chat. Again, if you have one, throw it in there. We're not just going to be on here for an hour just to entertain you. If you don't have one, then we're going to do the show, and then we're going to go enjoy ourselves too. Nobody likes to work multiple hours on a Saturday if they do not have to. All right. Who had Jennings last week over 2.5 catches? Who hit that last week? Oh,
I did.
All right, AB, let me come back to you because the number is exactly the same tonight.
Yeah, it's not bad. You're going to get a low number, but remember, we hit it literally right at the end of the game. But he's good for 3, 4, 5 targets, especially in a cold weather situation, especially if the game script is the 49ers playing from behind. They essentially use him as a sure-handed wide receiver tight end, to be completely honest with you, right? So he's going to get, opportunities in this one. I like it. I like over 2.5 in this one.
All right. Very, very good. Let me come to you, Mikey, because Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow just flew over his yardage. I believe he probably hit his completions attempts. I haven't looked, but he was on pace to do that. What about Aaron Rodgers tonight? His number is 267 at -114.
I lean towards the under. I have it at 259 personally. Not quite strong enough to go ahead and take the under on it, but that's the way I would lean. In the colder game, got both of the running backs active in this spot. And once again, we're questioning Jimmy G's ability to potentially move the football and score points in this one. So I just think we could see at times just the need for a little more conservative approach on the Green Bay side later in the game. Furthermore, I think we see a lot of shorter fields potentially for them. So for me, I like the under more than anything, but taking an Aaron Rodgers under in a home game is obviously never a comfortable feeling, but that's where I would lean.
All right. A lot of people in the chat want to hear your thoughts on rushing props, because if the under is going to come in and it's going to be, we just saw it 19-16, if it's going to be 20-16 and 23-20, rushing is going to be a big part of this game. We are already playing Debo. So, Sia, let me come to you. I'm going to come all the way around the board. Alex, to you next. Aaron Rodgers. This can't be the right number. I have 7.5. That can't be right.
It's
6.5 for Rodgers.
6.5.
Sorry. Aaron Jones, 52.5. I'm an idiot. I was looking at the wrong Aaron. So, Aaron Jones, 52.5. Let's start with him, Sia.
That's really close. I'm leaning towards the over there, but I don't love it. The problem is the snap share between and the carry share between him and A.J. Dillon. Game to game, it really fluctuates. And so I'm not super comfortable with, although 51.5 is a pretty low number, I'm not super comfortable with it. So it's probably a stay away for me.
Okay. Alex, what do you got?
Both these teams run the ball so much. They both chew up a ton of clock. I mentioned this earlier. The Green Bay Packers led the NFL in time of possession this season. That was by design as well. No one burns more clock than this team. Subsequently, on the other side, the San Francisco 49ers, only the Titans were more tilted towards the run this season as well. So they are both going to run the clock. This game is going to go by very quickly, in my opinion. There's just going to be a ton of rushing on both sides. In my opinion, that sort of deflates a lot of the passing and receiving props with just a high emphasis on both running games bleeding a lot of clock. So I just want people to be very aware of that and to also proceed cautiously as a result.
That's a lot of great information on those receiving props because there's a lot of them out there. And it's very, very easy just to play a bunch because you happen to like the player and you go, they're going to catch 4 and have 80 yards. It's never that way. Let's go to the Green Bay Packers' other running back who has been seeing, as the season's gone along, AB more and more and more. And I'm talking about A.J. Dillon. His number is over 39.5, juiced to -107.
Yeah, it's tough. It's essentially exactly what Sia just said. Like, you just don't know what you're going to get in terms of, snap share, right? Like, how many reps are they really going to get here? What'd you say? You said 39.5, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel way more comfortable with that because you're going to get opportunities on both sides. You're essentially just playing, the risk factor and going with a lower number. So if I were going to do anything, yeah, I would play the 39.5 on the over, because I think statistically you should have a better shot at getting them.
Okay. Alex, let's go back to you.
Yeah, so the 49ers were second in rushing DVOA. Defensively, they are very good against the run. I do anticipate Green Bay still putting a large emphasis. They're not going to really change dramatically, in my opinion, but I do expect kind of a emphasis on the short area passing game. As far as Aaron Jones is concerned, I'd look to attack him through receptions props or even his receiving yardage. I want to say it's under 24.5. I think that has some value. I do think he's going to be involved in the short area passing game quite a bit, potentially with no MVS in there as well. So yeah, I think that Green Bay is going to use the short area passing game almost as an extension of the running game as well. And I would just be a little bit careful against San Francisco because they are very, very dominant as far as a rushing defense is concerned, and they are much more beatable through the air.
Okay. The last rushing prop we have, Mikey, I'll come to you, is Elijah Mitchell. 80.5, -120.
Yeah, this one is tough because of the volume. He has gotten massive volume just because they run the football a lot, as Alex has talked about. My number on it is 77, so I'm leaning towards the under. I might try to find an under on his attempts prop, just because I think that's the one that could come up short, just because Debo is such a threat and such a weapon. And then we're obviously, out of all the games out there, this is the one we think should have the negative game script. Should take them into situations giving Debo the ball or trying to throw the football in situations. So I do lean towards the under. I respect his ability to run, and I respect him. Obviously, you have to because they've given him 20 carries essentially every game.
Exactly.
First, look to attack the under on attempts if you can find it. If not, then I would lean under, but I'm definitely not taking the over on his rushing yards.
Okay. Very, very good. Well, we are on his rushing attempts as a best bet for the show at 19.5. I believe Uncle Dave gave that out on Friday, so he matches up exactly with what you are saying. All right, I believe we've gotten to all of the props that the chat is interested in, so you know how I do. We just move on. We have 3 more big things to do, and then we're out of here. By the way, Thomas says, I am hoping that at some point you guys have a live stream during an entire game. It's funny you should ask that. We're going to have a big announcement coming up in the next, what's it going to be, AB? Next week or so?
Yep.
Next week or so?
Yep, next week.
I think you guys are going to be very, very happy with what we are going to deliver to all of you at home in 3 weeks from tonight. Just a little tease there. All right. Now, earlier today, we used the word chalk a lot when it comes to some of our picks for the VJM. We're not going to do the VJM yet, but we're going to do the donkey. The donkey is, for those of you who are brand new, so much fun. You put a bunch of different things together, throw them into a pot, and see if they hit. Mikey, the floor is yours.
Yep. Talk about the donkey. We missed the last one just on the over. We needed 38.5 in the game. Could not get there. Got everything else in it. Here we go for tonight, though. Packers +4.5 alternate spread. 49ers +14.5. Under 54.5 in the game. Aaron Jones over 34.5 rushing yards. Elijah Mitchell under 94.5 rushing yards. And Brandon Ayuk under 74.5 receiving yards. +425.
All right. Very, very good. I like that a lot. +425. One more. Aaron Jones over 24 receiving yards. He says, please hit that one. All right, we'll go back. Anybody want to take this one? Aaron Jones, his receiving prop. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. I would lean over on it. Rodgers is very comfortable with Aaron Jones throwing the ball to him. I do anticipate San Francisco having some success shutting down Green Bay a little bit as far as their running game is concerned. So I do think the usage will be there. I think the 3.5 reception line has some value at plus money as well. But yeah, I would lean over on 24.5 receiving yards for him.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, Mikey, thank you for the donkey. Now it's time for the VJM, something that as a team we take very, very seriously to get into the club. Now, Derrick Henry ruined that in the first game for us. Never fun to have, what was he, plus 200?
I thought we were going to get Tannehill too. I thought it was coming, man.
Oh, my goodness. I could have just seen that video with you flipping the ball in your living room. I would have flown to Nashville tonight just to slap you upside the head. I'm kidding. All right. So, M squared. Who are you going with tonight, big boy?
Randall Cobb plus 1,800. He is back and active. MVS is not. I like Alex. I think that they do use short passes as an extension of the run game. I could definitely see that in the red zone where Aaron Rodgers likes to also record his stats and his touchdowns. Give me Randall Cobb. Look, he went out and said, I want this guy, the guy that basically no one wanted. He could have, he could have been anywhere. He could have been sitting on the couch next to me watching this game tonight if he wanted to, if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to try and get him the football. So let's go Randall Cobb plus 1,800.
Randall Cobb, boy, not that long ago, he had 2 touchdowns for the Packers not that long ago. All right. Our only 3-time champ, the only man that has a +2 to get into the club. Very, very envious. See ya. You're up next.
First of all, I love the Randall Cobb pick there. And I do have a strong lean towards his over of 28.5 yards, especially with MVS out. But I'm going to go with a guy that Alan talked about last week. He's kind of an emerging star for the San Francisco 49ers. There shouldn't be much attention on him when they're in the red zone. Now, granted, they're probably going to try to run the ball in or get it to one of their superstars. But Juwan Jennings is an emerging one. And so at what was the number? I believe it was plus 2,200. Yes. I'll go with Juwan Jennings as your VJM first touchdown score.
Uh-oh. Chad in the chat just agreed with you, Sia.
Chad's a smart guy.
Don't tell him that, please. Please. His ego is already like this. I mean, Kelsey already took him down once. It took him 3 weeks to recover from that. All right. AB. How many guests are you allowed to take into the club?
Me and a +1.
Damn it. All right. Who do you got?
Well, we're going to make it a +2 because, look, I'm going with Tia here. I think he's got the right idea. I think we all believe that the Packers probably win this game outright, but I think the 49ers are going to start fast. So when they get down to the red zone, they are the best team at converting touchdowns in the red zone in the NFL. And he is thinking correctly, too. It's either going to be Juwan Jennings or it's going to be my man, Kyle Juice check fullback, baby, because they know that they got to pound it in. It's 0 degrees, and nobody wants to hit a fullback when it's 0 degrees. So give me Juice check plus 2,700.
Oh, he is a beast. You don't want to get in his way. By the way, Williams says, M squared, let's ride Randall Cobb together into the promised land. It ain't going to happen, William. It ain't going to happen. Now, I feel like every time we do the VJM, that when we get to this next man, it just kind of just stops a little bit because everybody wants Alex to get into the club with his own ID. So, Alex, how do you do it tonight?
Nobody wants Alex to get in more than Alex either. So let me assure you of that, Coach. I've been going very chalky recently. I'm going to go with actually a value that I like quite a bit. That is Josiah Dugera, the tight end from the Green Bay Packers. It seems like every year there's just like a new guy that Aaron Rodgers develops a rapport with that you had no idea who he was prior to the start of the season. That is Josiah this season. He's filled in for Robert Tonyan very admirably. He is the pass-catching tight end for Green Bay. He scored 2 touchdowns already since Tonyan went down midseason. This guy's looked really good. I think that when we get to the red zone, A-Rod will hook up with him for the first TD. Plus 2,500 too.
Guess what? I'm going to do you a solid, Alex. If you can spell his last name. You don't have to pay me for our showdown bet. Can you spell his last name?
Duguar? No.
Okay, you owe him another 100 for that.
R-A?
Wait, what did you say the second one was?
I already got it wrong, so it's okay.
It's Deguara.
Okay.
Don't say I'm not a competitor.
I appreciate
Never
it.
say I'm not a competitor. All right. Very, very close though. It's like in the spelling bee when they miss the second letter and they just hit that ding. They don't even let it fit. Dang. All right. So the jeweler is on George Kittle. That is chalk if I ever heard some. But now, because of his lack of use, his number has been consistently over plus 1,000. So the jeweler is on Kittle plus 1,100. He is yet to get it into the club. I'm going to go with a guy that AB once beat me to the punch to get, and that's Alan Lazard. And you hit this, what was it, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
I was so hot because I wanted it, and you got it, and you hit it. So I'm going to go Alan Lazard tonight. He's also plus 1,100, but I feel really good about the Packers scoring first and laying the smack down. I think they win by 7 or more tonight. I don't even know what I'm going to bet because I want to bet the under, but I know the minute I do it, we're going to see the headline, history made. First time since 1960. You know that's going to be the case. All right. It is time to do the donkey one more time and then put up our best bets and get the hell out of Dodge. So, Mikey, if you would indulge us, please, one more time, I'd appreciate it.
Yep, and I'll answer. I see a question in the chat. I am on Randall Cobb for the first touchdown. But as far as the donkey, we have the Green Bay Packers plus 4.5, the 49ers plus 14.5, under 54.5 total points in the game. Aaron Jones over 34.5 rushing yards. Elijah Mitchell under 94.5 rushing yards. Brandon Ayuk under 74.5 receiving yards.
All right, very, very good. Quick chat question because I'm a man of the people. Alex Jackson says, Coach, help a kid out. Devontae Adams, 94.5, or Lazard, 39.5. He wants to play one of those two. Which one should he play?
I mean, it's probably easier to take Devontae Adams just because of how spectacular this guy is. You know he's going to get double-digit targets. I'd rather live and die with him personally. I do think both numbers are efficient, though, for the record. Slight lean towards Adams, though.
All right. Very, very good. All right. So I like to end every single show letting my guys tell you exactly what they're looking forward to the most tonight. So if you can put up the best bets while we do that, kill two birds with just the one stone. Mikey, start us off. What are you most looking forward to tonight?
I'm going to keep it simple. I'm looking forward to the Packers winning the game so I can cash 2 more tickets. And I think it gives everyone the most competitive football moving forward, no matter who they would face. And I think that's what we all want to see, unless you have 49ers futures or you are a 49ers fan.
And I am neither one. All right, Alex, how about you?
I am looking forward to another competitive game. That first game was excellent, in my opinion. I hope this game mimics that as well and is also great. I'm looking forward to seeing Debo, who, in my opinion, should be the offensive player of the year.
Okay, very, very good. Pal Grapp in the chat says, wait a minute. Is that the coach from the WWE? No, I get it all the time. That's not who I am. I'm tired of people thinking that's who I am too. But I've heard he's a cool guy. All right, AB. What are you most looking forward to?
I think this is going to be a heck of a game. I'm excited to see, do we get another road team that could go in and kind of shock the world? We could lose both 1 seeds on either side tonight, right? It can Aaron Rodgers, as weird as it sounds, get over the 49ers playoff hump. So we'll see. It's going to be a fun one.
It certainly is. Oh, Chad is wanting to step up and get back in our good graces. He says, Coach, if you get in the club a second time before I do, I will Venmo $50 to a charity of my choice. Alan Lazard, baby. Alan Lazard. All right, see ya. Bring it home.
All right, few things here, and I'll be super quick. First of all, you can get Kyle Juszczyk at 40-1 in certain places. Of course, that's Allen's first touchdown. It's 2,700 in some places, but it's actually 4,000 in others. I'm looking forward to seeing if San Francisco models themselves after the Cleveland Browns. And the Cleveland Browns had Nick Chubb rush 17 carries, 126 yards. No wide receiver eclipsed 58 yards in that game. That's the blueprint, and they should have won that game. It was 4 interceptions by Baker Mayfield. One other thing, just real quick, Evan McPherson was the only kicker drafted in the 2021 NFL draft. He was drafted in the 5th round by the Cincinnati Bengals. So for all of you that are like, oh, my team drafted a kicker, what a wasted pick. Evan McPherson just won a playoff game. And finally, Coach, showdown plus 5.5. Are you willing to take it?
Wow. I have so much respect for you for the call out. I really, really do. Normally, because I haven't given this as a play, I probably would just sit, but I just beat Alex. I just beat the maestro. I'm playing with house money. I'm going to beat you tomorrow night. So, AB, if you don't mind, hit that music. What in the hell is that? What are you doing? Is that like a half a showdown? Do we do half?
Look, Jeweler's got the good YouTube account. I'm doing what I can here. I
God.
just skip through ads, all kinds of things.
Hashtag embarrassing. See ya. We're on. 5.5's the number. Respect. All right. That was so embarrassing, AB. My goodness. If you weren't our MVP on the ones and the twos.
Hey, well, I'll tell you what. Let me
yes.
make it up to you. You ready?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, the jeweler coming through. I love it. Spy Tat says, AB, you had one job to do. Just one. And you couldn't get the job done. Just like Ryan Tannehill had one job to do. Throw an interception in the 4th quarter.
Hey, hang around. There's going to be a couple more that we miss on as well. So there you go.
Oh, this is so much fun. Once again, thank you to all of you who hung out with us. Not once, not twice, but 3 times today. We'll be back tomorrow with 3 more live shows, 10 a.m. in the morning, and then 1 hour before both games. I believe the first game's at 3, so we'll be on at 11 a.m. Second game, 6:15, and that's the game of the weekend. Bills Chiefs. We'll be right here live at 5:15 Eastern time, getting you set for that one. But there's only one thing left to do, and you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these late night Lambeau playoff tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, there is nobody better. See ya. Dial up, Prop Stars, M Squared, and of course, the jeweler. You never know when he's going to drop in. Keeping it all together here at the brand. I am the coach. Tell all your friends. You want to have fun? You want to be included? You want to be educated and entertained? There's only one place, right here at the Early Edge. Good luck.